Hey guys, it's ya boy Desolator Magic here, and I'm back with more spoilers from the upcoming Warhammer 40K Magic the Gathering set. Or more like group of products, I wouldn't call it a set. But you know what? Good evening, good game, God bless and gas the furries. Let's jump into these spoilers. First up, we got Winged Hive Tyrant. So it's a 5-cost red, blue, 4/4 creature Tyrannid. Now, the Tyrannid players have told me to say Tyrannid, and then literally every single other person on the planet has told me to keep saying Tyrannid to piss off the Tyrannid players. Well, you know what? Just as a rule, if it rhymes with pyramid, I'm gonna change it. So Tyranitar here has flying, haste, and the will of the hive mind. So other creatures you control with counters on them have flying and haste. Hope you brought bug spray. Next up, we've got Nexos, everybody's favorite track from Amaranth. Even at that quality, I'll probably still get claimed. So anyway, there's a 2-cost 2/2 human Tyrannoid advisor, or Tyrannid, or whatever that says. So Tater Tots here has a strategic coordinator. Basic lands you control have tap and add 2 colorless. Wow, that's actually pretty good. And spend this mana only on costs that contain X. Wait, didn't we have a card in the first spoilers that was like identical to this? Whatever, okay. Well, like I said before, that's really good. Next up, Exocrine. So it's 1 red, 2 generic, and 1 X. Now, I don't need to explain once again what Ravenous does, but what you may or may not know is that they actually named it Ravenous after the 1992 Zero album. It's true, look it up. Don't look it up. But he also has Bioplasmic Barrage. When Exocrine enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to each player and each other creature. Each player, that includes you. He's crazy. Just like that Zero album. Next up, we got Gargoyle Flock. I'm pretty sure a group of gargoyles is not called a flock, but sure, we'll go with it. So it's 4-cost 2/2 Tyrannid Gargoyle and flying and Sky Swarm at the beginning of your end step. If a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, create a 1/1 blue Tyrannid Gargoyle creature token with flying. We'll get a little swarm going. I don't know if I just hit my head a little too hard at work today, but didn't we have a card almost identical to this in the last set of spoilers? I don't know what's going on. Sorry if there's repeats. I'm pretty sure I edited this correctly, but we'll see. Anyway, next up, we got really Haruspex? So there's a famous magic card called Grim Haruspex. It's from Khans of Tarkir. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Hold on. Okay, so apparently in ancient Rome, it was one of a class of minor priests who practiced divination, especially from the entrails of animals killed in sacrifice. What the crap does that have to do with this card? Anyway, well, Mr. Haruspex here is a 4-cost 2/2. Boy, none of these cards are very good. Tyrannid, of course, and Rapacious Hunger. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Haruspex, and then Devouring Monster, tap it, remove X 1/1 counters on Haruspex, and add X mana of 1 color. What does that have to do with Devouring? If everything you'd be throwing up, you're getting smaller to have energy burst out of you. Boy, at a certain point, they just gave up with these, didn't they? Next up, Hierophant Biotitan. Pretty sure Hierophant is just the fancy fake term in fake Latin and fake science for a vampire. Yeah, in my expert opinion, in 40K, they do have vampires, and they all look like that. I know, good for them, going a different direction. So this is a 12-cost double green plus 10, 12/12, Tyrannid with Frenzied Metabolism. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you remove any number of 1/1 counters from among creatures you control. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each counter removed this way. Ooh. And Vigilance, Reach, and Ward 2. Heck yeah. If it's a 12/12, it should probably have a little bit of Ward. And it has Titanic. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and if it's dealt damage by an iceberg creature, destroy it at the end of combat. That's bold. Next up, Lictor, the official Tyrannid in charge of licking everything. They just are obsessed with knowing what everything tastes like. So it's 4-cost 3/3 because I guess they're not allowed to have a creature with power and toughness bigger than the mana cost in green, which that's like the rule in blue. Okay, so it has Flash and Pheromone Trail. When Lictor enters the battlefield, if a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control this turn, create a 3/3 green Tyrannid warrior creature token with trample. Well, it's a 1 and done, and his ability isn't even that good. This is actually pretty weak. Next up, Malanthrope, and I'll save you some time. I already looked it up. That is not a real word. Now, in the official story, this is in at least 3 of the books, this is actually the resurrected corpse of General Grievous from Star Wars. A lot of very, very big tie-ins. I mean, they got Magic, they got Star Wars. What's coming next? My hope is SpongeBob, because there's a lot of heroes and a lot of villains in that universe. You could do a lot with that. Plus, SpongeBob and his karate would absolutely wreck. They probably haven't added it because of balancing issues, but anyway, this is a 3-cost 2/2 Tyrannid with flying, Scavenge the Dead. When Malanthrope enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Malanthrope for each creature card exiled this way. That's actually really interesting. It's like a durable, ongoing crypt incursion. Kinda neat. Next up, Malak. It's a red-green plus X 2/2 Tyrannid with Ravenous. And Terror from the Deep. When Malak enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Ooh, he a thick boy and he coming in angry. Just like me at the midnight buffet. Seriously, if they don't stop calling me at 2 in the morning for... I'm doing air quotes right now. High priority incidents at my work while I'm on call. That's going to be me coming in the morning. Next up, Goliath Truck. Because WotC has to put vehicles and everything. Now this is actually part of the official Warhammer 40K train set. I know a lot of you out there have that and I don't have to mention it, but I just wanted to say, that's a thing. So it's a 4-cost colorless 4/4 artifact vehicle with stowage, which I'm convinced also isn't a real word, but I'm done looking these up. When Goliath Truck attacks, put 2 1/1 counters on another target attacking creature, and then crew 2. I mean, those are counters. I mean, even if this is a one and done and then they block it and kill it, you got something bigger. So they got to stop this from making everything bigger, but then they have to also stop the thing that you just made bigger. This is a fantastic card. One of the most powerful ones I've seen in the set so far, and it's an uncommon, proving that WotC doesn't know what the heck they're doing. And if they're watching this video, you're probably about to hear in a couple months about an official MTG train set. Next up, Pure Strain Gene Stealer, one of the Nazis that escaped to Argentina after the war. So he's a 3-cost green 1/1 Tyrannid, and Pure Strain Gene Stealer enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it. It ought to, that just brings it up to vanilla level. Well, I get it, like their whole thing is they add counters and then they remove them and then they care how many creatures have counters. Okay, cool, we already had modified a while ago, come on. So Vanguard species, whenever Pure Strain Gene Stealer attacks, you may remove a 1/1 counter from it. If you do, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. He wasn't actually stealing genes, he's not 23andMe. It looks like he was after land cards after all. And they still pinned war crimes on him. Next up, Ravener. They just took Ravenous and made it into a noun, I guess. So it's a 2+X00 Tyrannid with Flash and Ravenous, of course. And when Ravener the Ravenous, enters the battlefield, target creature attacks target opponent. This turn of Fable, so yeah, you flash it in on their step, make them real big, and then force them to attack. That is pretty powerful. You get to choose the creature, too. I mean, that's big. Next up, Adelan Jackal. There's a lot going on here. So apparently the Tyrannids have motorcycle technology. Why not? Why wouldn't they? Aren't they the guys with the electric guitar troops? Why not? Well, it's a Christmas colored +1/2/2, a human Tyrannid scout with trample and haste, and skilled outrider. When Adelan Jackal, which is really hard to say apparently, deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Like Rogue's Gloves are actually still a pretty good card in the game, so I mean, this being self-contained in the creature and having trample and haste, this is big. Like, this is actually really powerful. If you think I'm wrong, go look at the price tag on Sword of the Animist, okay? Like, this isn't that far from that. Everybody knows Landfall is my jam going all the way back to Origins. So next up, Screamer Killer. Oh, go to another, probably Sonic unit. Why not? So this entire division was completely wiped out when one of the smartest scientists in the entire Warhammer 40K universe developed earplug technology. So the now completely useless and defunct unit is a 5-cost red 5/5 Tyrannid, of course, with trample and bioplasmic scream. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 5 or greater, Screamer Killer deals 5 damage to any target. Well, that won't commonly happen, so next, Sporocyst. Oh, I forgot this is one of the Irish Tyrannids. Okay, it's actually Sporocyst. It's like Seamus O'Malley, Anyway, it's 1 green plus 2X, so whatever you pay for X, you have to pay twice. And Ravenous, because duh, and Defender, okay, and then Spore Chimney, neat. It's a 0/0, by the way. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to X basic land cards, and then put them onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. So if you're already ramping hard, or you're going hard on the land fetch for the landfall triggers, this thing would be nuts. You could spend all your mana on just this, and get so many triggers. You could probably defend yourself, heal, drop counters, whatever else you're doing, bring out tokens. Yeah, a lot of good landfall cards. This is a beast. Next up, Termagant Swarm. Proving once again that every single thing in the entire Warhammer 40K universe is really, really ugly. Can't they have a faction of adorable kitten creatures that win with cuteness. Is that too far outside the lore? Anyway, it's a 1 green plus X creature Tyranid with Ravenous and Death Frenzy. When this card dies, create a number of 1/1 green Tyranid creature tokens equal to its power. I love the Die and Explode cards. Those are like really good. Next up, Shadow in the Warp. Oh, I hate it when there's a shadow in my warp. I've lost so many Warhammer games to that. So it's a 3-cost Christmas colored enchantment, and the first creature's spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. Okay. And whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, Shadow in the Warp deals 2 damage to that player. Ouch. Non-creature too. It's creature for you and non-creature for them. Oh, and the flavor text on this and on most of the cards is really good. I've been skipping it because, you know, if you want to get way into the lore, I mean, obviously you're on the right channel for Warhammer 40K lore. And secondly, you can just read them all yourself. So, this one, though. The astropath collapsed, his empty eye sockets aglow. He spoke 3 words before falling lifeless to the ground. Like the video. Very prophetic. He knew you were going to do it. Don't let his death be in vain. So next up, Turvagon. The inventor of the inverted peanut butter and jelly. And destroyer of worlds, it turns out. Smart fellow. So, 1 green plus 1 generic plus X, Ravenous, I mean, it's just a given at this point, Trample, and Spawn Termagants. When Terry Hair deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green Tyranid creature tokens. Holy crap, that is powerful. Mix it with Trample, like, this isn't quite Phyrexian Obliterator, but, like, dang, this is spicy. I guarantee that's a $10 card minimum. So next up, the Red Terror. Ah, yes, the famous exiled communist Tyranid. He did not last long. Yeah, I remember he used to stand on the street corner shouting about how great it would be to have socialism, and then he just kind of disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him after he lost his job at Starbucks. Sad. Sad, sad, brainwashed Tyranids. It's affecting our universe, too. So it's a 4-cost 4/3, red legendary creature Tyranid, and advanced species. Yeah, he thought so. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to 1 or more permanents and or players, put a 1/1 counter on the Red Terror, so it just keeps getting bigger, but not by the amount of damage that he did. Next up, we got the vaguely Roman-sounding Clamavis, and vaguely Roman-looking. So this guy's a 5-cost 3/3 creature human Tyranid artificer. I can read. Seriously, I need some sleep though. Proclamator Hailer. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each 1/1 counter on it. That is kind of insane. I mean, he costs 5 and he's fragile, but that's how like every single strategy game goes. You know, you got your like weak but powerful effect people, effectively the like wizards, the squishy support people. But man, if you can keep him alive, this is going to wreck, especially with the amount of creatures with counters and the amount with trample. In the Hardened Scales deck, this guy would be something. Next up, ooh, we got like a spoiler here. It's Trigon Prime, the main character of the second Trigun movie. Okay, that horse has already left the barn, but yeah, it's a 4-cost green-blue 4/4 Tyranid and Subterranean Assault. Oh, that's right, the actor was in Tremors, too. Whenever Trigon Prime attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it and a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 other target attacking creature. That creature can't be blocked this turn. Next up, Tyranid Invasion, aka this entire set. So it's a 4-cost green sorcery, create a number of 3/3 green Tyranid creature tokens, warrior creature tokens with trample equal to the number of opponents you have. Ooh. So, you know, these are Commander products, and Commander is commonly played multiplayer, so more than 2 players. I guess we consider 2 players to be a duel in Magic, than anything more is multiplayer, even though 2 is multi, but whatever. So, I mean, yeah, this is a good card. Not in duels, but otherwise it is. Next up, Aberrant. Because every other creature in this set is so totally normal. Yes, he's the outlier. He's the weird-looking one anyway. This absolute abomination and aberration to all things holy in nature itself, apparently, is 1 green plus 1 generic plus X, 0/0. There's a lot of these in the set, apparently. Tyranid, Mutant, Ravenous, and Trample, and Heavy Power Hammer. What an aberrant and abnormal weapon. Whenever Aberrant deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. How terribly odd and uncommon for a green permanent to do that. Next up, Acolyte Hybrid, and Acolyte of what? Osha. He's wearing protective eyewear while he drills, I mean... So Mr. Safety Inspector here is a 3-cost red 2/2 Tyranid human and a Heavy Rock Cutter. Whenever Acolyte Hybrid attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If an artifact was destroyed this way, its controller draws a card. Well, it is every attack. You probably should give them some compensation. Next up, Tyranid Prime. Ooh, must be a spicy boy, and it looks like it because he's a 3-cost green-blue 0/4 Tyrannid, and evolve, which means whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power toughness than this creature, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. A little throwback to Magic Pass there. And a Synapse creature, other creatures you control have evolve. Oh, that's nuts. That's going to be a lot of counters going out. Next up, Tyrant Guard. Now, the spelling is actually a coincidence. He's a Tyrannid type T, and they just shortened it to Tyrant. So this is a 3-cost plus X 3/3 Tyrannid without Ravenous. Just kidding, it has Ravenous. And Shield Wall. Sacrifice Tyrant Guard. Creatures you control with counters on them, which is all of them, gain Hexproof and Indestructible till end of turn. Well, you're not going to ambush them very good with this, but, you know, they'll see it coming, but hey. Yeah, after all that build-up, you're going to have to save them somehow, and boy, are there upgrades available for this deck already in the Eternal format. Who would have thought? So next up, Venomthrope. They're just taking 2 words and slamming them together because it sounds cool. What is this, a Norma Jean album? By the way, Baya Network, good song. So this is a 3-cost green-blue 2/2 Tyrannid with Flying Death Touch and Hexproof. Simple. Keep it simple. Next up, Genestealer Locus. Oh, not cool, dude. Jeans are getting pretty expensive, even at the rather thrifty clothing shops. So anyway, Mr. Blue Jeans here is a 4-cost blue 3/3 creature Tyrannid human, and why is this in italics? Whatever, Neurorod thing. Whenever a creature attacks you, it gets -1, -0 until end of turn, and whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents, it gets +0/+1 until end of turn. Oh, they say it's +0/+1, but it's actually +0/+fun. That would cause some chaos right there. Now, no joke, my deck, you guys know this if you've been watching my channel long enough, is the Don't Attack Me deck. Isperia is my commander. If you attack me, you are going to lose something, probably the game, almost definitely all of your creatures, okay? Settle the Wreckage, Aetherize, Aether Spouts, Dramatic Rescue, something's gone, okay? Something gonna pay. So this gently encouraging them to not attack you, I like the more direct approach. You know, playing the psychological mind games on them. I mean, I got 5 cards in hand. If you attack me, anything could happen. I cannot be held responsible for what I do in self-defense. Now that said, I might put this in my deck anyway. Next up, Bone Sabers, which I guess is a typo because it's obviously the Ultralisk from the Zerg faction. Boy, you give them that level 3 plate armor. Ooh. Oh. So it's a 3-cost artifact equipment, and whenever equipped creature attacks, put 4 1/1 counters on it, and then equip 3. What? That is crazy that would be a recurring effect on a very difficult to remove type of permanent, because this ain't no aura, it just jumps around. Oh my gosh. So the flavor text on this one is interesting. It's charged with psychic energy. The melee weapons of Tyrannid are far more than Bone and Chitin. Yes, I said that just because every single other YouTuber gets melee and chitin wrong. Guys, we have the technology. You just go to dictionary.com and hit the little play button, for God's sake.
Melee, chitin.
Yes, I just held up the mic to the speakers again. I don't feel like unmuting my stereo mixer. So that is it for today's spoilers, but I suspect, since we've only seen Tyrannids, that we're going to see some more spoilers, so subscribe if you don't want to miss it. In fact, most people don't know this, but Taco Cat spelled backwards is subscribe. So on that note, I will leave you to whatever you were doing that's probably more important than watching this video. I'll see you guys next time.